Hello, Judge Napolitano. He's judging freedom and with Fox News since before he left Fox News. They've been putting a whole bunch of people tied, even if that kid's not related to a Joe DiMauro. There are a bunch of DiMauros, and there's one named Joe DiMauro. There's more than one named Joe DiMauro involved with that Central Connecticut State University with the F.B.I. before and after the World Trade Center attack with organized crime acts or federal evidences crime acts that involve judges and prosecutors, other too. And Joe DiMauro brought up the name Napolitano in his confessions years ago when they were trying to make a fake instance real fast of making it look like I was friends with them or know them. And they hid what was recorded and is actually recorded. How they got away with that, I found out there are increasingly interbranch locations in their families are putting fake transcripts in databases. Increasingly, people, intelligence families at next to Hartford Hospital and other campuses, other medical campuses, have also the families of fire campuses and of all ages and natures of campuses, even kids that don't go to the same campuses. Like people with the name Scalora, too, are increasingly involved with the World Trade Center attack, timed collusions with the Saudi attackers, and Connecticut news locations have Saudis involved also with proven child abusers, leaders of kids, first force, years apart, who also have roles with these people named DiMauro, with home people involved with home break-ins from other areas in my area. And their roles of people involved increasingly with wire crimes with multiple police departments with them, and with Wethersfield police refusing to identify themselves, making confessions and pretending they won't get on paper since I was a kid. A Mr. Apruzzi is also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed by people I don't even know their names. They brought it up too at Central Connecticut State University. They have roles with the World Trade Center attack, interstates, and with people at the World Trade Center and spots next to it, including the court next to it right before the attack. WFSB faked conversations with them. People with the name Violet, DiMauro, Kerr, others I don't know the names of, Collusion, they're involved ongoing with Wethersfield police, with the Rocky Hill police there, and FBI there, and the other countries involved. These are also people at and next to religious locations. There's a Robert Rodriguez also involved with people named DiMauros, with some sexual and medical offenders of kids. And he brought up the principal upskirt nature's picture campus to me. And names next to it, named Scalora, also recorded and confessed, demonstrated, confirmed involved with child abuses and various natures of federal crimes with kids and with elderly homes, with people named DiMauros, and their roles with home break-ins in my area and identity thefts or frauds. I never had them. I never saw them at campus in my life. They tried to make a fake exception by having him and make it look like he knew me with my. There were people with the name Scalora reportedly with cousins that live in my area involved with intelligence, multiple police departments involved with a Scalora, a Cololo and Smith and O'Brien families have roles with intelligence, and Wethersfield police chiefs retired in their intimate ties, involve all kinds of falsified police reports, wire crime, mail crime, refusing to falsify, in other words, switching names into branch, switching sequences. They have a bunch of retired and standing judges and prosecutors. They have victims advocates involved with that at the same time with them, with overt criminal enterprises and private ones, not legitimately unmarked intelligence pretending to be that. And I don't know what do you call it? I forgot his name. In other words, they've been doing this for years. Every year, they're putting fake things in databases as collusion /S too, because the breaching method knows they communicate other than they pretend they're communicating, and they play fake sides. These are collusions with multiple administrations. People involved with the Clinton administration are increasingly involved with the DiMauros, and they're like fake sides. They take place, they pretend to be against Trump. They're pretending to help him too in the background. They are incapable of helping. There are collusions with the World Trade Center attack and with organized criminally foreign influence uses of each age and nature of campus and with names next to them. DiMauros are next to a campus I went to for 1 year on Valley Crest Drive in Wethersfield, Connecticut, and increasingly involved with people with a Harris family, too, with judges and prosecutors, identity theft, fraud, slanders, and with foreign and domestic medical families, putting fake things in databases together. Saudi Arabia with the Wethersfield police, some Mendez police too. They put me in fake conversation with older Mendez brother at the Wethersfield Police Department when I was an adult. I wasn't ever had a word of conversation with him or any other officer there. And they forced Saudis to collusions with that. But it was also them being forced by foreign and hyper foreign. No, because that's, so to speak, there are all these countries involved with them. I only saw him on one time on my campus real fast. And then later that day, real fast. Joe DiMauro. He's increasingly involved with people. That was in fifth grade. He's increasingly involved with people in my fourth grade class, in my sixth grade class. Involved with there used to be a sixth grade teacher that wasn't my sixth grade teacher. He tried to make a fake exception of it and put fake things in databases regarding mold. No, because these are people involved with all kinds of chemical things and things like that with their intelligence. New Britain Superior Court and Central Connecticut State University has people named Burstein involved also with religious crimes with the kids, where they bring up religions and all these things where they're putting fake things in databases, sequence ships. Debbie Gold pretended she knew me. I don't know her, by yelling at me and screaming all these things. Then I yelled back at her. I called her name or something like that back, and she gave a letter to my teacher. And I forged it with an auto pen, though, because I found one, and because they were doing a tricky thing. They do that, like that game, to make it look like I know her. I didn't know how to explain it that way because there was other things involved too. I would know other qualities, aspects of nature that were showing me her links between other people. In other words, like on the top of my street, I never had a class with the O'Brien brothers. They make confessions, they have demonstrations, they have roles with criminally foreign influence branches of government and little tricks. Like one time, I never saw on my campus. They tried to, one time in the playground, they said, and then one time in a hallway though, or no, outside, no one was around except for me, and they knew I was going to walk out there right that moment. And he said something like it didn't even it wasn't a legitimate sentence, and he contorted his voice. So if I try to communicate, so if someone tries to communicate something like that, they're going to sound crazy. And he said something about his parents being intelligence, and then it was also to imply that I had conversations with people behind that I didn't. They're putting fake transcripts in databases. A whole bunch of people with the name Leahy. I never met them. I saw them. I saw them before. They had other people tell me about them. They had other people tell me about me. They put me in fake conversations with them at Hartford Hospital. They're one of the ones involved with the DiMauros Market, where it used to be next to Hartford Hospital, and where it is now. Also in Io's Market, Io's Kitchen, and a Mayano house, or Mayano family house, and people next to Hartford Hospital houses, and next to the campuses into the cities. These are also people with fire departments. A Mayano family also has sequence ships with people on my street involved with federal evidences crimes with them, and identity theft, fraud, slanders with them, fake ties, fake nature ties. He sought me out in 1994 to make a whole bunch of confessions and demonstrations to me about his roles with intelligence families named me, like a Scalora family. Basically, I never saw John Mao and Ray Collo together. In other words, Ray Collo used to repeat Meano, and because the intelligence people has people do that, repeat names. He repeated the names Joshua Julian, so I remembered that name. Joshua Julian was trying to pretend he had partied with me, per his language on Facebook. The Wethersfield police have their Facebook page with New Britain Superior Courts and their family members involved with some sexual medical offenders. Also with the Facebook pages of the campuses and the Board of Education and buildings next to it have roles with overt criminal enterprises and private ones with the same ones. and their educators putting fake ties and fake natures of ties to kids in grammar school and middle school, with the ones involved with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, pretending they're mature too, and pretending other people are immature, like they have something to do with the intelligence community, with criminal enterprises, plural too, involved with this Joe DiMauro too, Latin criminal enterprises and Italian themed ones, with the time collusions with the former director of the F.B.I, Robert Luskin, his co-defendants and their family members. Don LeConch and others are recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, involved with people at Trinity College, too, putting fake things in databases with a Dean Judd. Oh, that's a Dean Judd, is it, with Central Connecticut State University before that, but then with a Dean Alford and people involved with him, involved with some murders. And as people involved with the probation officers of Mike Oliver, who also had roles at the time with the murder of Greg Kyler, even if that was made up and it was reported and they have right to lie with the news and the intelligence agencies had roles with the World Trade Center attack tied to that, and relative body dumping spots U/S and the names next to it. Increasingly, people tied to John Scully too. Like, these are people that won't talk about things. And the police won't. You can't speak with them at the police department because they already faked conversation. I wouldn't go down there and speak with them. They put me in fake conversations with them and weren't at all. Fake transcripts there. Fake me being there as a kid and then as an adult too. And these people are also tied to the DiMauros, ones with the name Mendez doing that. And former director of the F.B.I, Robert Luskin. They sought me out with others. And Eric Jensen and Joe DiMauro has people named Scalora, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, involved with Dearborn Street in Newington, and the areas and people with businesses and houses near there, involved with them, with a Mike Pandolf and their educators, Eric Jensen, his educators. In other words, and Mike Roberts. They have roles with foreign and domestic police ones, state police, overt criminal enterprises, private ones, foreign and domestic medical families involved with identity theft, fraud, slanders, falsified police reports, rules all along Route 175, like actings for other people to see things and take pictures and pretend things are fake. Where and how there's a roles with all, there's a method that has them with all sides of criminal and civil cases, and the courts, and the police forms, and their sources, the family members of mayors, conjunctionists to them, the news, putting the same sequence shifts at the same time, the same federal evidence as crimes. Illusions, no, but also delusions. So that's why they have, in other words, they have the audacity to speak for power and might, and they don't even have black people as whites of eyes, which is inseparable from American subjects. Brought into it, how the breaching method reassigned what nature communicates with that, and then America's founders were born. We're going to examine how no one has free speech, and how they get away with keeping, fake integrity. Only one's allowed to be heard. Fix the fake news, WFSB, and Fox Connecticut News. Apologize to Judge Napolitano, or with him. Get them on paper with the courts tied to you, with more sexual and medical offenders of kids through time that are connected to. And there are more with the courts yet. People with the name O'Connor that a DiMauro family also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. Involved with ones near me, involved too with the police forms tied to a Dillon family, and people involved with home break-ins and the corners of the streets, like on the corner of Carriage Hill Drive and Fairlane Drive, and the corner of Fairlane Drive and Griswold Street has a bunch of people involved with Joshua Stryker. I never seen him there either. I never seen him in my area. He tried to make it look like he knew me by having people time where I was going to be and have them communicate with me. I never had a word of conversation with him, and made them make confessions to me. This is what they do. Then you have to tell on people you don't even know. It makes it sound like you know them. Like that girl, I don't even know her name, tied to a Joshua Stryker, sticking fake things in databases with the leaders of my campuses behind my back. I can't get them on paper since I was a kid. These are also people on my street, timed collusions, intercities. See, if they make people make confessions to people intercities, then they can't say anything about that without anyone trying changing a figure. Would they say playing stupid if they try to say something and getting away with it? Because now they made things more complicated, and they brought in more than one. The police department, though, they brought it in. Get me off the fake conversations with the Wethersfield police and at the Wethersfield police station. Get them off the identity thefts or frauds, with the courts refusing to get on paper, switching names and sequences. The police also switch names and sequences. They have all kinds of federal evidence crime methods recorded, as the ones involved with the World Trade Center attack. And predicate acts every year since. They keep whole careers, criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions raw. They're out of their minds pretending that the intelligence community has integrity. All right! Judge Napolitano, do what's right. Let's go. Hurry up now, please.